Galactic Council had existed for 11,000 years. Throughout their long reign, they had encountered hundreds of spacefaring species, cataloging each one with scientific precision. Their assessment procedures had never failed, until humanity. High Counselor Vex studied the holographic projection of Earth with growing concern. Another report from our observers. These humans have begun terraforming their fourth planet despite barely mastering spaceflight. Ambitious but hardly threatening, remarked Counselor Trell, his 6 eyes blinking in sequence. They fight among themselves constantly. That's precisely what concerns me, Vex said, manipulating the projection to show human warfare through the centuries. Look at their evolution. Where other species developed defensive capabilities over millennia, humans weaponized everything within reach almost immediately. The council chamber fell silent as images flashed before them. Primitive humans using fire against predators, forging metal into weapons, splitting atoms, and now reaching hungrily toward the stars. They adapt to threats with remarkable speed, observed Mira, the council's military specialist. Her exoskeleton clicked nervously as she moved closer to the projection. Most species take generations to evolve responses to environmental challenges. Humans solve problems within lifetimes, sometimes within days. Their physical frailty is deceptive, added Counselor Dorn. They lack natural defenses, yet survive environments that would kill most sentient beings. They engineer solutions rather than waiting for evolution. Vex nodded grimly. Their reproductive rate coupled with their adaptability makes them potentially problematic. They've developed spacefaring technology in less than 1 century after discovering flight. What do you propose? Asked Trell. Standard procedure would be observation for another century before contact, Vex replied. But I believe we should expedite first contact protocols. If humans continue developing at this rate unsupervised, they could destabilize regional balance. Mira's appendages twitched with disagreement. First contact now could accelerate their development. They're naturally curious and frighteningly resourceful. Better to guide that development than allow it to proceed unchecked, countered Vex. Our reports indicate their information networks have already detected anomalies from our observation posts. They're looking for us. The council deliberated while studying human history. Primitive tribes surviving ice ages, civilizations rising from ruins of predecessors, technological advancement accelerating exponentially. There's something else, Vex finally said. Their fiction regularly contemplates alien life. Most species require generations to accept the concept of non-native intelligence. Humans have imagined countless variations before even meeting us. Imagination is hardly a threat, Trell dismissed. Isn't it? Vex magnified the projection to show human spacecraft designs. They've already theorized propulsion systems we didn't develop until our 5th millennium of spaceflight. They're not just looking for us, they're preparing for us. Mira studied the projection with growing alarm. These are weapons designs, theoretical, but the principles are sound. My recommendation, Vex announced formally, is immediate contact with limited technology sharing. We guide their development along peaceful lines while assessing their true potential. The vote was nearly unanimous. Prepare the contact vessel, Vex ordered. And may the stars forgive us if we're wrong about these humans. As the council adjourned, none noticed the small monitoring probe near Earth had gone silent. Humanity had already taken its first step toward the stars, by capturing alien technology. Commander Ren Ellis stared at the alien craft in the secure hangar, still hardly believing what they'd recovered 3 months ago. The military had moved, with unprecedented speed, creating an international coalition to study the probe found in lunar orbit. Status report, she requested, her voice betraying none of the excitement churning inside her. Dr. Mason approached, tablet in hand. We've cracked their computational systems. The translation matrix is functioning at 80% accuracy. But the propulsion system is the real breakthrough. How soon until we can replicate it? Ellis asked. That's just it, Mason said, eyes bright with wonder. We don't need to replicate it. We can improve it. Their technology relies on principles we theorized decades ago but couldn't engineer effectively. Now that we see how they solved certain material challenges, we can implement our more advanced theoretical models. Ellis raised an eyebrow. You're saying we can build better ships than theirs? Potentially faster ones, yes. Their technology seems to prioritize efficiency and sustainability over speed. Our models suggest we could achieve significantly higher velocities using their construction techniques with our theoretical frameworks. The secure door hissed open as Admiral Kemp entered, followed by representatives from 5 nations. "Tell them what you found in the navigation system," he ordered. Mason nodded. The probe contained detailed scans of our planet, but more importantly, it had coordinates for what appears to be a central gathering point of alien civilizations, a galactic council. They're approximately 14 light-years from Earth. "And they're coming," Ellis added. "Communication logs indicate they've decided to make official contact within the year." The Russian representative leaned forward. "But they don't know we have their probe." "Correct," Admiral Kemp confirmed. "The probe was designed to self-destruct if tampered with, but Dr. Mason's team managed to bypass those systems. We have an advantage they don't expect," Ellis said. "They think they're dealing with primitive newcomers who'll be awed by their technology." The Chinese representative studied the holographic display of the alien vessel. "The probe's weapons capabilities?" "Defensive only," Mason replied. "But the principles could be adapted." "How long until we can build a ship capable of reaching their council?" asked the Indian representative. Admiral Kemp looked to Mason, who consulted his tablet. 6 months for a prototype using hybrid technology. 3 more for a small fleet. 9 months, Ellis repeated. "We'll be ready before they even arrive for their first contact." The Japanese representative frowned. "Are we proposing a preemptive strike?" "I'm proposing we negotiate from a position of strength," Ellis corrected. "History has taught us what happens when technologically advanced civilizations make contact with less developed ones. We won't be the natives trading Manhattan for beads." The meeting continued for hours, but the decision was effectively made. Humanity would not wait passively for alien contact. They would claim their place among the stars on their own terms. Project Prometheus was approved unanimously. Within days, production facilities around the world retooled for the greatest cooperative effort in human history. Theoretical physicists worked alongside engineers, soldiers trained alongside astronauts, and weapons designed for terrestrial warfare were reimagined for the vacuum of space. "They think they're studying us," Ellis remarked to Mason as they watched. "Construction began on the first human interstellar warship. They have no idea we're studying them, too." The Galactic Council contact vessel Harmony of Worlds emerged from fold space with practiced precision. Captain Lorne surveyed the view screen with professional detachment despite the historic nature of their mission. First contact was always delicate, with these humans, doubly so. "Final approach to Earth orbit," reported Navigator Pell. "Local defenses detected but non-aggressive. Primitive satellite network tracking our position." "Open standard greeting channels," Lorne ordered. Communications Officer Zeth manipulated her console. "Channel open. Translation matrices active." "Attention people of Earth," Lorne began formally. "We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Council, a cooperative of spacefaring civilizations. We," Zeth interrupted urgently. "Captain, multiple vessels approaching from behind Earth's moon." "Impossible," Lorne said, turning to tactical displays. "Our intelligence indicated no human presence beyond their orbital stations." The tactical officer's appendages flailed in confusion. 7 vessels, Captain. Configuration unknown, but they're using modified Council propulsion signatures. The observation probe, Lorne realized with dawning horror. "Sensor officer, when did we lose contact with the lunar observation post?" "Approximately 4 standard months ago," came the response, after frantic checking. "Assumed equipment failure." On the view screen, the human vessels arranged themselves in perfect offensive formation, surrounding the Harmony with practiced precision. Their design was unmistakably non-Council, angular where Council ships were smooth, bristling with obvious weapons where Council vessels integrated defensive systems seamlessly. "They've adapted our technology," Lorne whispered. "In mere months." The communications system activated, displaying a human female in what appeared to be a military uniform. "Galactic Council vessel. This is Commander Ren Ellis of Earth Defense. Fleet Prometheus, we've been expecting you." Lorne struggled to maintain composure. "We come in peace." "Yes, we decoded your standard greeting from the probe's databanks," Ellis interrupted. We appreciate the sentiment but prefer to establish relations on more equal terms. Your vessel will remain where it is. A diplomatic team will board for preliminary discussions. Zeth muted communications momentarily. Captain, they can't possibly have weapons capable of... A precisely targeted energy pulse struck 20 meters from their vessel, close enough to register on sensors but causing no damage. Their weapons are more advanced than those on the observation probe, the tactical officer reported with disbelief. They've improved the design. When communications reopened, Ellis's expression remained neutral. That was merely a demonstration. Our vessels carry significantly more powerful armaments. We would prefer peaceful dialogue, but we are prepared for alternatives. Lorne signaled Zeth to mute again. How did they advance so quickly? The Council projected at least a century before they could approach our technology level. The probe contained no weapon systems beyond basic defenses, the tactical officer insisted. But it contained the principles, Lorne realized. And if our reports about human adaptability are accurate... With resignation, Lorne reopened communications. We accept your terms, Commander Ellis. Our airlocks are compatible with standard docking procedures included in the probe's specifications. Ellis smiled. We know. We'll board in 30 minutes. Prometheus out. As the transmission ended, Lorne turned to his stunned crew. Contact the Council immediately. The humans aren't just adaptable, they're dangerous. The diplomatic party that boarded the Harmony of Worlds consisted of 5 humans, 3 military officers and 2 civilians in formal attire. Captain Lorne noted with concern how casually they moved in the artificial gravity, adapting immediately to the environment. Welcome aboard, Lorne said, performing the traditional Council greeting gesture. I am Captain Lorne of the Galactic Council. The lead human, Ellis, didn't attempt to reciprocate the gesture. Thank you for your cooperation, Captain. This is Dr. Anna Mason, our chief xenotechnologist, and Dr. Kai Park, our diplomatic lead. Dr. Park stepped forward, dark eyes revealing nothing. Captain, we've reviewed your contact protocols from the probe's database. While we appreciate the Council's standard approach, Earth has unanimously decided on an alternative arrangement. The Council's diplomatic specialist, Vril, moved forward. Alternative arrangements are certainly possible within Council guidelines for... I don't think you understand, Ellis interrupted. We're not applying for membership in your Council. We're informing you of humanity's intention to establish itself as an independent spacefaring power. Lorne's breathing sacs expanded in alarm. The Council encompasses all advanced civilizations within 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. There are no independent powers. Dr. Mason smiled thinly. There are now. From a case she carried, Mason produced a holographic projector displaying technical specifications that made Lorne's internal organs constrict with dread. The designs showed propulsion systems far beyond what the probe had contained. Innovations the Council's engineers hadn't considered. We've improved your fold space technology, Mason explained casually. Our version achieves 30% greater speed with 40% less energy consumption. We've also developed these defensive systems based on principles in your probe's shield emitters. Lorne struggled to maintain composure. How, in mere months... Parallel processing, Ellis said simply. While your species specialize and compartmentalize research, humans attack problems from multiple angles simultaneously. What might take your Council decades through methodical progression, we accomplish through thousands of scientists pursuing different approaches concurrently. Dr. Park opened a diplomatic portfolio. We propose a mutual recognition treaty. Earth acknowledges the Galactic Council as a sovereign entity, and the Council recognizes Earth and its colonies as an independent power with full autonomy. Impossible, Vril stammered. The Council's charter requires all spacefaring civilizations to join the collective governance structure. It ensures peace and prevents territorial conflicts. Ellis's expression hardened. We've studied your history, extracted from the probe's educational databases. Your Council began as a defensive alliance that gradually absorbed independent worlds until membership became mandatory rather than optional. Earth will not surrender its sovereignty. Furthermore, Mason added, we've pinpointed the locations of 17 Council worlds from navigational data. Our fleet can reach those systems within weeks. The threat hung unspoken in the recycled air. Lorne exchanged glances with Vril. The Council must debate this unprecedented situation. Of course, Dr. Park nodded reasonably. We anticipated that. We'll remain in Earth orbit for 14 standard days awaiting your response. After that, our fleet departs for Council space, either as recognized diplomats or... The alternatives remained unspoken. As the humans departed, Lorne turned to Vril. Can they truly have advanced so quickly? Vril's epidermis had paled considerably. Their adaptation rate exceeds anything in Council records. If they can reverse engineer and improve our technology so rapidly, then the Council faces something entirely new, Lorne concluded grimly. A species that doesn't need millennia to evolve. They force evolution through sheer determination. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened with unprecedented haste. Representatives from 200 species crowded the chamber, murmuring anxiously as High Counselor Vex called for order. The human situation has escalated beyond all projections, Vex announced, activating the central display showing Captain Lorne's full report. They not only captured our observation probe, but improved upon our technology within months. Impossible, shouted Counselor Drell, his crystalline form vibrating with agitation. No species develops that rapidly. Mira, the military specialist, stepped forward. The evidence is irrefutable. Human vessels now possess capabilities approaching our medium range. Cruisers, created by adapting technologies they had never encountered before. How did they bypass the probe's security protocols? Demanded a reptilian representative. Every observation module contains fail-safes to prevent precisely this scenario. Captain Lorne, still visibly shaken from his encounter, addressed the Council directly. They think differently. Where we see boundaries, they see challenges. Their historical records show consistent patterns of overcoming seemingly impossible obstacles through what they call creative problem-solving. The chamber erupted into chaotic debate until Vex restored order. The immediate question is how to respond to their demand for independent recognition. In 11,000 years, we have never granted such status. We cannot capitulate to primitives, Drell insisted. They must be contained before they destabilize. The Galactic Order. Counselor Trell raised a serene appendage. Perhaps we should consider the historical parallels. The Zeth Rebellion was similarly unconventional, and our attempt to suppress them resulted in the devastation of Sector 9. Mira projected tactical simulations onto the display. If humans continue their current advancement trajectory, they could achieve military parity with Council forces within 2 decades. Their propulsion innovations already exceed our capabilities in certain parameters. What makes them so different? Asked a gaseous entity from the outer chambers. We've encountered thousands of species. A xenobiologist named Eshla floated forward. Their evolutionary path is unique. Most sentient species evolve specialized adaptations for specific environments. Humans are generalists who survived through behavioral adaptation rather than physiological specialization. They don't evolve biologically to suit their environment. They modify their environment to suit themselves. And now, they're applying that approach to galactic civilization, Vex concluded. An ancient member of the Council, rarely heard from, raised a gnarled limb. There is precedent, though ancient. Before the Council formation, independent powers did coexist. The Articles of Origin permit exceptional recognition in cases of unique civilizational development. Silence fell as representatives contemplated this forgotten provision. If we refuse their demand, Lorne said quietly, they've made it clear they'll proceed anyway. Their psychology includes a trait they call defiance. When told something is impossible, they become determined to accomplish it. Are we truly considering yielding to threats from newcomers? Drell demanded. Vex studied the human fleet specifications again. Not yielding, adapting. Perhaps we too have become specialized over millennia, expecting all species to follow familiar patterns. These humans represent something our procedures never anticipated. A species whose adaptation rate outpaces our assessment protocols. After hours of debate, the Council voted narrowly to open negotiations for a recognition treaty, the first in its 11,000-year history. May we not regret this precedent, Vex said solemnly as the session adjourned. The stars are about to witness something entirely new. The treaty signing ceremony aboard the neutral station Concordia marked a turning point in galactic history. Representatives from Earth stood proudly alongside Council dignitaries, the formal document acknowledging Earth as a sovereign power in interstellar space. Dr. Park signed for humanity, while High Counselor Vex represented the Council. As ceremonial, witnesses, Commander Ellis and Captain Lorne observed with carefully neutral expressions. A historic occasion, Vex announced for the official record. The Council welcomes Earth as an independent ally. When the formalities concluded, Ellis approached Lorne in the reception area. Your leaders made the right decision. Did we have a choice? Lorne asked quietly. Your advancement rate frightens many council members. Ellis smiled. Fear is often the beginning of respect. But I'm curious. Why did your species never develop the improvements we made to your technology? The principles were already in your systems. Lorne considered this. The Council values stability and proven methods. Innovation occurs carefully, with extensive testing over decades. That's precisely why we'll continue to advance faster, Ellis explained. Humans thrive on the edge of disaster. We take risks that seem reckless to other species. Across the room, Dr. Mason was engaged in animated discussion with Council engineers, her hands moving expressively as she described human theoretical models. The aliens listened with mixtures of disbelief and reluctant admiration. Your scientists seem eager to share knowledge, Lorne observed. Selective knowledge, Ellis corrected. We understand political reality. Earth remains vulnerable despite our technological leaps. We're offering enough innovations to demonstrate value as allies while maintaining crucial advantages. Lorne's translucent eyelids flickered. You speak of cooperation while planning for conflict? We speak of cooperation while preparing for all possibilities, Ellis countered. Humanity's history taught us that peace requires strength. The Council maintained galactic stability through overwhelming technological superiority, a situation that no longer exists. On a nearby view screen, news feeds showed human ships already establishing outposts in previously unclaimed systems. Their expansion rate exceeded all Council projections. You're moving quickly, Lorne noted with concern. Ellis watched the displays with satisfaction. Another human trait: we seize opportunities. Your Council deliberates for decades before colonial expansion. We make decisions in weeks. Such haste leads to mistakes, Lorne warned. Sometimes, Ellis acknowledged, but we learn from mistakes faster than most species learn from success. That's humanity's true advantage, not our technology or aggression, but our unique relationship with failure. Lorne seemed puzzled. Relationship with failure? Where Council species avoid failure through careful planning, humans embrace it as inevitable during rapid progress. We fail faster, learn faster, and ultimately succeed faster. While your Council perfected fold space travel over centuries of incremental improvements, we'll revolutionize it within decades through countless failed experiments. Later, reporting to the Council, Lorne would struggle to convey this fundamental difference. A species that considered temporary failure preferable to cautious progress. A mindset entirely alien to Council civilization. Adaptation isn't just their capability, he would explain. It's their core identity. 20 years after first contact, the Harmony Conference convened on Earth's orbital diplomatic station. Representatives from the Galactic Council sat alongside delegates from the rapidly expanding human cooperative. Two galactic powers now approaching parity. Ellis, now Admiral and humanity's senior diplomatic representative, surveyed the assembled dignitaries with satisfaction. The journey from terrified species discovering alien observers to respected galactic power had been remarkably short by cosmic standards. Distinguished representatives, she began, addressing the gathering. Today marks 2 decades of coexistence between our civilizations. Despite initial tensions, we have proven that different evolutionary approaches can complement rather than conflict with one another. High Counselor Vex, one of the few remaining from the original contact period, inclined his head respectfully. Humanity has certainly demonstrated the value of innovation. The joint development projects have produced technologies neither of our civilizations would have created independently. The station itself stood as testament to this cooperation. Built with Council structural principles but incorporating human-designed gravitational systems that allowed comfortable habitation for dozens of diverse species. Dr. Mason, now elderly, but still sharp-minded, activated a holographic display showing the transformed galactic map. Human expansion had created a significant sphere of influence. But instead of the territorial conflicts the Council had feared, interconnected trade, routes now linked human and Council worlds in complex economic networks. Our different approaches created something neither side anticipated, Mason explained. The Council's stability combined with human adaptability has accelerated peaceful development beyond all projections. The reptilian counselor Seth raised a scaled hand. Yet we cannot ignore that human military capabilities now match Council forces, despite your significantly smaller population. Ellis nodded, unconcerned by the observation. Just as we cannot ignore that Council diplomatic networks extend throughout known space, while humanity is still establishing basic relations with many species. Our strengths differ. Together, we create balance. The greatest surprise to the Council had been humanity's approach to other developing species. Where the Council had traditionally guided emerging civilizations slowly into the galactic community over centuries, humans accelerated the process through direct technological sharing and cultural exchange. The Viridian Alliance would have remained pre-spaceflight for generations under Council protocols, noted Dr. Park. With human assistance, they've established self-sufficient colonies on 3 worlds in just 8 years. Such rapid advancement carries risks, Vex cautioned. Life carries risks, Ellis countered. The Council sought to eliminate risk through careful control. Humanity accepts risk as the cost of progress. As the conference continued, working groups tackled challenges from resource allocation to defensive coordination against extragalactic threats. The integration of methodologies produced solutions neither civilization would have conceived alone. Later, walking along the station's observation deck overlooking Earth, Ellis and Vex paused to watch human ships departing alongside Council vessels, once separate fleets now often operating in coordinated missions. Did you plan this outcome from the beginning? Vex asked curiously. Your aggressive stance during first contact suggested conquest rather than partnership. Ellis smiled. We planned for multiple scenarios. Humanity's history taught us to negotiate from strength, but our goal was always cooperation on equal terms. You changed us, Vex acknowledged. The Council had grown stagnant over millennia, mistaking stability for progress. And you changed us, Ellis replied. Without Council influence, our expansion might have become reckless. The synthesis of our approaches created something genuinely new. Below them, Earth rotated serenely. Now one world among many in humanity's growing sphere, yet still symbolically important as the cradle of a species that had forever transformed galactic civilization. The stars feared nothing until humans arrived, Vex said, echoing a phrase that had become common among Council species. Now we all face the future differently. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy, Ellis replied. Not just our technology or methods, but our perspective. The universe isn't something to be cataloged and managed. It's something to be challenged and transformed. As human and Council ships vanished into fold space side by side, the new galactic order continued its evolution, neither purely human nor purely Council, but something unprecedented in the history of intelligent life. A civilization driven equally by caution and daring, tradition and innovation, stability and change. The stars had indeed learned to fear humans, and then, something far more important, to respect them.